I'm Ann Murray. I'm with the Allegheny Front, and I'm working on a story about deconstruction, which means the disassembling of a building versus demolition. And I want to sort of walk you through the steps that I took when putting the story together. The reason we started the story, I had found out that PNC is deconstructing a series of buildings in downtown Pittsburgh. I'm on site with Fred Solomon. He's the spokesperson for PNC Financial Group. And the reason they've chosen to do that, they said that they like to go on a brownfield, which means a site that needs some environmental work. They take down the buildings, and then they do this with the term called deconstruction versus demolition, which means that they're dismantling a building rather than wholesale destroying the building and losing the elements. So what we see on site is the second stage. They've gone in and taken the facades off the building. They've gone inside the building and done something called a soft strip, which means they've removed doors and windows and other elements of the building that they can get out. And now the big piece of machinery that you see is called a picker, and that allows them to actually sort out the elements of the building, the steel girders, the bricks, other elements, aluminum, and then sort it on site. And that's another element of deconstruction that saves energy by doing a lot of these things on site. They're going to crush up some of the concrete and use that when they build a subsurface parking lot under the skyscraper that will be there on site. It's going to be a 33-story skyscraper, which will be the new headquarters for PNC. And again, it's the whole idea of having elements that go into various streams, often for reuse. They're going to sell a lot of the steel, it'll be melted down, and voila, it will be some use of steel again. The point of doing deconstruction, where it can be located, they have to have markets. In Pittsburgh, there is a market for salvage. It's called Construction Junction, and it's been around for more than a decade. And you can see on site, they told me that this was a marriage of, I love this description, a marriage of Goodwill and Home Depot. And builders and just people who want to do perhaps work on their house can come to this warehouse, and they can get a litany of things. Again, it can be anything from windows. They said they have a very good market for old lumber, plumbing materials, even facades of buildings are there. Habitat for Humanity also has these reuse stores, and that's indicative of the fact that there's at least a trend, but it's still a very, very, very small part of the market. Probably the easiest way to deconstruct a building is when architects think way in advance, and they think about how to build a building with taking it down in mind. At Carnegie Mellon University, there is such a building. It's called the Intelligent Workplace, and it was built in the mid-90s, and it's actually placed on top of an old building, at least a 100-year-old building called the Margaret Morrison Building. It's on the very top, and it was put together sort of piece by piece, and it's now used as a laboratory. A lot of architectural students are there, and an architect here in town who does sustainable development and construction, Mark Mondor, gave me a tour. And we went inside, and he showed me some of the ways that they can take the building apart. Here, we're looking at bolts rather than having pieces of the building soldered together. So it's easy to unscrew and actually take whole chunks of the building apart. Not only is it good for the end of the life cycle of a building, it's good for repair of buildings. And Mark says that it's the best way that people can use deconstruction is to think about it right up front when you are building. Thanks for watching.